Hi guys, my name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about the Zandile story, the Zandile evidence, everything, the testimony, everything. Ne? But I want us to talk about it in context of the South African case law and how everything falls into place, etc. But before we do that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you are doing that, you will be supporting this channel financially and in numbers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Now, let's deal with South African case law, how identification fails under contamination. Let's deal with that. So, this narrative is not an opinion, right? It is anchored in settled South African jurisprudence. Okay. One, State versus Mthethwa, 1972, bracket 3, bracket SA 766A. Ne? Identification evidence must be approached with caution, especially where observation was brief, stressful, or impaired. Application to Zandile Khumalo is as follows. Observation occurred under armed threat. Witness, witnesses fled the scene. Okay, especially Zandile. Let's talk about Zandile. The witness fled the scene. Ne? No sustained opportunity to observe facial features. Classic Mthethwa danger zone. That's exactly when it comes to authority that Judge Rata will always request. It goes when it comes to what Zandile did. The second authority, State versus Shazin, and another 2006, bracket 2, bracket SACR 143 SCA. Honest witness can be mistaken and confidence does not equal correctness. Let's look at Zandile's application. Zandile's confidence emerged years later. Her certainty matured after exposure to police and trial narratives, and court must separate sincerity from reliability. Okay? Law number 3, authority number 3, State versus Tandwas, 2008, bracket 1, SACR 613 SCA. Courts must guard against post-event reconstruction of memory influenced by subsequent information. Let's apply to Zandile. Multiple statements over the years, memory refreshed and reshaped, details hardened over time rather than faded. Reconstructed memory, not original recall. That's what, when we apply the State versus Tandwa 2008 authority, that's what happens when it comes to Zandile. Look into that. State authority number 4, State versus Sithole, 1999, bracket 1, SCACR 585 W. Dog identification is inherently suggestive and of limited probative value unless supported by prior reliable identification, which in this case it did not. Okay, let's apply to Zandile's evidence. No early identification parade close to the event. First firm identification occurs in court. Accused seated, labeled, isolated. Dog ID, contamination fully engaged. That's what happened there. Authority number 5, State versus Souls and Others, 1981, bracket 3, bracket SA 172A. The absence of corroboration is not vital, but where identification is weak, corroboration becomes decisive. Let's apply to Zandile, this authority. No forensic linkage, no contemporaneous identification, no independent corroboration fixing the shooter. Identification stands alone and falls alone. And also, according to the people in the house, it looked like Ntanzi was the one that shot, but okay, let's go on. Now, let's look at part 2. Those were authorities that I wanted us to apply when it comes to Zandile's testimony. Part 2, okay. I don't know what Zandile thought was going to happen with everything that she was doing. Ne? I don't know what she thought she was going to gain with that. I don't know whether she was being calculative in a right manner or she was coached to do what she did in that courtroom, because there was a lot of things that were happening with her. She was full of herself. She was arrogant. She was disrespectful towards the defense. She was fine. At some point, I think she was panicking. Initial stages, because I remember when she said she was having chest pains and Uchadrota was not impressed. Didn't wanna didn't wanna adjourn for that. And then there was, do you remember? And then she's the one that was popping via the door holes, the lock door holes. That's what she was doing. So there's a lot of things that were happening. And at some point, she gained confidence after doing the evidence in chief. And because when it was evidence in chief, she was just telling the story, and Baloyi was nice to her, taking through it. They were moving on the same. It sounded like, yay, Zandile is nailing this entire thing. Up until the time of cross-examination, we saw another character now, because she was well-mannered, respectful. The way she spoke, she was polite. Hey, then it was time for cross-examination. We were introduced to another Zandi now. Zandile during cross-examination, yes. I thought when it came to Ramsipile, she was a bit rough and a bit condescending, but I saw nothing when it came to that, because also Ramsipile is he's not a harsh guy. Unless you push too much, then he will not hold back. But you need to really piss him off or do things to an extent that he's like, we are Delela. Other than that, he's just a sharp guy. Then it was the time for Umnisi. Now, Umnisi, she was acting tough and stuff. But it was not something you see. Hey, and then it was Ngumalo. Then that's when she fought with Ngumalo, because Ngumalo is a silent poison, okay? She's a silent snake. He will come for you. And the way he grills, he is like, he has the same atmosphere all the way. He's not gonna change. Zandile took advantage when she felt like, I'm being exposed, left from strength to whatever, from post to post, from pillar to pillar, and she could not handle that drama, the adrenaline. There was no drama per se from Ngumalo's side. It was her who became dramatic and started telling him, no, you're not going to address, because she was being cornered and everything. And then now she started being very defensive, angry, emotional, all of that situation. And then she was like, yeah, you're not my husband. I'm somebody's wife. You're not going to talk to me like that, ma'am. And then we thought that was worse. Then it was Zandile versus Zandile Mshololo, advocate Zandile Mshololo versus Zandile Kumar. Yay. It rained there. She was something else when it came to that part. She was angry. She was pissed off. She was everything, disrespectful to an extent. I already said this in our previous video. She took that anger even after she was done with her testimony. She was home now. She was still going on, feeling herself, thinking that she ate, thinking that, I dealt with that in Shololo. She thinks she's all that. That's how she was portraying the entire situation. And she was busy crashing out on social media, on her Instagram pages, going on and on and on and on. It was bad, guys. It was really bad. And I think she's the type that you can't tell her what to do unless you cornered her. That is why at times, this is a side note, I always get surprised when she allowed herself to be in Isitem, yet, girl, ex-tough as someone, you can't tell me what to do. You won't treat me like such a second citizen, etc. And the other thing that pissed her off when it comes to Mshololo asked her about a matric, which it sounded like she doesn't have a matric certificate. She asked about her education and she was not impressed at all. Yeah, after that, she got angry. Oh, she got angry. She was not happy with him, Charlotte. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to Zandile Kumalo's evidence? Let's talk. You heard all the law, the authorities that are used and applied. Wena, what do you have to say about that? Let's talk. I will hear from you on our next video. Are we okay? When it comes to this, please, I wanna have a discussion with you there by comment section. Then I will see you on our next video. Bye bye.